Hey guys, it's Postbox Pat. Welcome back to a brand new map change video where we go over all the map changes inside of Fortnite BR and OG. Starting off with BR, the main map change this update comes in over with Superman himself. Now his Superman Fortress of Solitude has been added in. The giant fortress, it's a giant ice rock, well that's what it looks like, and as you go inside of here you will find Superman himself inside of here. It's a really cool POI and I absolutely love it. If you go inside of here you'll find the Superman NPC just over here. You can find him in here, as well as Hope does spawn in here now as well. She's moved over to this location and you can see this is the location of the new Superman area inside of his Solitude. It's pretty cool. I love this little hanging piece up here. I don't really know much about Superman lore. I've never watched any. I think I watched the first film years ago. I've not watched any of the Superman films really, to be honest, so I wouldn't really be able to comment on exactly what all of this is. It may be kryptonite, it may not be. I don't really know. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what all this is. It just looks like a giant iceberg to me, but it's probably not, and it's probably more than that. So let me know in the comments what you guys know of Superman so I can learn a little bit more about him. But yeah, it's a pretty cool map change. It's obviously Superman's POI, which has been added in, and it just looks amazing. So that's the new POI. Just before I go any further, I just want to mention that the new weapons are now inside of Fortnite. The unstable Thunderclap DMR, which is an explosive DMR, the Surf Cube, which is just so fun to watch and use, and even the unstable bounce grenade, which is like a bouncy ball grenade and it explodes each time. These are all available in Toy Box and in BR. If you want to try them out straight away, head into Toy Box by searching for the word toy. It would mean the world to me if you guys could do that. It helps support the channel even further, so make sure you guys do that. Anyway, so let's jump back into the map changes. Next, we've got these giant pillars which are all over the BR map. There's 4 of them in total and they are absolutely huge. They're obviously related to Demon's Domain and these are absolutely massive. Now hover around different various points and obviously you can see the trees have changed as well. It's withering away, slowly starting to become part of this Demon Domain style vibe, corrupted and ready to become maybe part of the live event or lead us into season 4. They're everywhere. We may even see these maybe connect together with lightning or move around the map. Who knows? But they're absolutely huge and they look pretty cool. Definitely Fortnite are really taking things seriously with this Fortnite lore and stuff going on, but it just isn't really getting as much hype as it would just because of the amount of split between different game modes and UGC maps. Obviously players aren't as interested in the lore as they used to be, so personally I have not really covered much lore stuff on the channel other than these map change videos, so I don't really know what's going on. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of lost interest in it myself just because there's so many different modes, but there are rumors which we'll talk about in a second when we go over to OG, because I'm going to talk about some map changes on there that maybe OG and BR will link together, and there's some good supporting evidence on that as we do go over to that, because there's a live event coming into OG which we'll get to in a sec. So here's the 4 pillars which are just flowing around, you can see them there. Okay, next little map change I want to mention as well is actually over at Supernova Academy. You can see that the academy itself is now starting to also wither away on the outsides. The trees are starting to lose their green leaves entirely and it is becoming majorly dark, I guess, on the outside. It definitely is weird and interesting to see the academy itself surrounded by this gloomy Demon Domain style corruption vibe which is happening. It obviously is related to the end of the season, how it's going to end up. Is it going to take over? Are the superheroes going to stop what's going on at Demon's Domain, or is it going to be the end of the Fortnite map? I think we'll go into season 4 and then we'll transfer, but obviously it's all leading up to that final event with the different stuff we've had with the Spirit Realm, which is quite exciting. And obviously I personally think that the story is possibly going to connect together, which we'll talk about more in OG in a second when we get over there. The next map change I want to show you guys, which is one which you probably won't even notice unless someone told you, and that is that the river over here is no longer flowing with gold water. All the rivers that used to flow with gold, which will give you that speed effect, have been removed and they are now flowing with fresh water. There's no gold water in any of these anymore inside of the gold POIs, which was such a weird, strange change. I feel like maybe it might be an accident or maybe it was on purpose. I don't really know. But there we have it. There are all the map changes inside of Fortnite season 3's update today, version 0.2. So yeah, it's kind of exciting. Let's go over to OG though. Okay, so inside of OG there's a bunch of map changes, kind of nostalgia vibes here, but a lot of the meteor crates are now being filled up. The extraction has taken place and obviously you can see the trucks are here harnessing the hot rocks and meteors, taking them to the rocket which is over on the other side of the map. We've actually got a few of the trucks here slowly moving over from the outside of the prison. The government is delivering these items from the meteors, the hot rocks, the classic map change from season 4 over to the rocket position, which we'll go over to in a second because I want to explore some of the other map changes on this side of the map. We also have a few over in the center side as well over at Fatal Fields. There was a little kind of meteor on the outside of this, which was also being harvested, which is now being full back up. These trucks have loaded it and full, or kind of filled in the crate, and obviously the other government vehicles have made their way over to the location of the meteor, or not meteor, sorry, the rocket. We'll go over to the meteor though, because I want to show you guys some more stuff over on this side as well. The meteor does also have some interesting changes. There's additional trees which have been added into this POI, so it's becoming more tree-like. Over time, these trees get bigger and bigger, and Dusty does get covered entirely in trees and even gets overgrown. So if you don't get a moment to check it out, do check this place out while you can, because this is going to be overgrown eventually by the time season 5 comes around. And I didn't show it last update just because I kind of completely forgot, but the visitor did arrive in his rocket over here, and he has escaped, and obviously he's head over to the live event, which will be taking place with the rocket. Now, talking of the live event, I've got a little bit of footage of it on screen right now, and it looks like the sky is going to be red. Personally, I feel like this may be an accident and maybe possibly a reuse of assets which we've seen from the past, maybe just a mistake from the dev team, or if it's not a mistake, I also personally feel like it could possibly be a link between the Spirit Realm and the current Fortnite OG events. Will they make these two tied together nicely at some point, or is this all just going to be speculation to keep the community hyped? A little color change isn't too much. The event itself is going to be an exact one-to-one replica other than the color change, and maybe even the color change will be getting readjusted just before the event. It may only be a placeholder or a reuse of assets. Don't get your hype up too much. Fortnite lore has been dead for a long time, but if this does consistently happen and Epic do bring some hints to it with item shop skins and more, and maybe even next season, then maybe chapter 7 could loop us back in to season 11 of chapter 1. Who knows if that will happen or not? I've had this theory for a long time. I just thought I'd mention it again. Okay, so let's move on out of here and show you guys some more map changes in the OG map, because there's lots of additional ones to cover and just look at. There's always map changes going on. So you remember the Fortnite truck over at retail? Well, that's now moved to Greasy, which we'll head over to in a second when we go to the rocket base. But before we go over there, I just want to mention also we have the hole over at Risky Reels, which has now been covered up as well. So the meteor hole, which was kind of obviously happening at the start of season 4 where it landed in, has now been covered and completely ready for reuse as well if they want to park cars on it again. Obviously there's a lot of trashed cars over there. Some more government vehicles making their moves slowly over to the government base as well, or I should say, I guess I don't even know if these are government, because obviously the visitor takes over the rocket and takes it over. Who knows really who this faction was? We referred it to as the government, and many people know it as that faction back in the day. But in reality, I don't really know why they deliver all this stuff to the rocket and then the visitor just takes it off. Originally we thought it was mainly just the movie set, but it doesn't look like that was the outcome, obviously because of how the Fortnite lore went. Then we've got some more footage here of them being delivered as well. You can see these ones are very, very close to delivery, and some have already been delivered as well. If we go inside of the rocket launch base, which is here, you will see that there are some meteorites at the bottom already which have been delivered. So there must be something which the visitor is harnessing, or whoever's commanding this base, to take this rocket off. At first we all thought it was a disguise and a prop and just something for a movie set, but then obviously we know that this rocket gets used and is the first one in the event. We don't really know why, but it starts the Fortnite lore. That rocket kind of like kicks almost everything off other than the meteor which landed in, but it's one of the major big points which we know. This also should get covered up later on, we are aware of that. And the Greasy Grove Fortnite truck, just before we end up over here, I want to show you guys that. We also are missing a really crucial map change which we had back in season 4, and that's actually the soccer stadium for the World Cup. Unfortunately, we've not got it, and I don't think we'll be getting it at all. Where is the Fortnite truck? He is in here somewhere. There he is. He's moved to Greasy Grove, and there he is, the classic Fortnite truck, making his way around the map slowly. We also get this with Durburger and obviously the Tomato Head later on in the Fortnite lore, which we'll cover. We won't cover every location because we've already done it in the past, but we'll keep you updated as the weekly map changes happen in the main BR. If anything happens in OG, I'll try and cover it here in this video. But yeah, the football stadium, which was added in towards the back of Pleasant Park over here, is no longer here. It's not coming, I don't think, at all. It was a collaboration thing, so it may not come, but this is where it was plopped in towards the end of season 4. If we're going to get it or not, I don't know. I hope we do, but I feel like we might not, and I feel like they are going to skip this now with the live event taking place, so it's probably going to happen. You can see obviously some more government stuff going on here, but yeah, that's going to be it for today's map change video. I'm excited for the live event. I'll probably stream it just for nostalgia nostalgia purposes. Fun fact, I never actually watched it live. This is the one event I never saw in Chapter 1. My little brother actually filmed it from my device. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to rewatching it in real time because I've never done it. And I'll probably stream it as well if I'm available. I hope you guys have enjoyed though. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe.